CitrusTV continues its coverage of the 2012 Big East Football Media Day. We bring in a little bit of outside help for a media roundtable. We bring in Z89's Ben Fontana, WAER's Andrew Kanell. Today we spoke with players and coaches for about 2 hours, just talking about all things from conference to how much food they ate last night at a Big East clam bake. What was the most interesting thing you guys learned today?
Well, from Nick Carparelli, Associate Senior Interim Commissioner of the Big East right now with Joseph Bailey, the actual Interim Commissioner, said that it's basically a clean state. You got Temple coming in from the MAC, West Virginia leaving to go to the Big 12, and a lot of new teams coming in next year with Syracuse and Pittsburgh leaving. It wasn't awkward like I thought it would be with Syracuse and Pitt having their last Big East Media Day, but I think it was still interesting because everyone was saying that last year it was a very competitive league, and this year I think they're saying that the future is going to be bright.
Yeah, and they were sort of combining that with the whole theme of parity in the Big East and talking about, well, it shows the quality of the Big East, why everybody is so close every year. And I think a lot of analysts from afar might beg to differ with that point, that the parity and the so-called competitiveness in the Big East is actually a bad sign, and you need some elite teams. But Carparelli and a lot of the head coaches were just pointing out about the bright future and sort of tying it in with the competitiveness in this conference and saying that it's a good sign. For me, another interesting thing was definitely Steve Addazio, the head coach out of Temple, first-year head coach, first-year program coming to the Big East. They played previously in the MAC. And Temple comes in without much fanfare, without much attention. But Steve Addazio, he did a little bit to change that. He was very interesting just in his delivery. It wasn't so much exactly what he was saying when he stepped up to the podium. All the coaches got a chance to talk. But Steve Addazio was just very interesting in how fired up he was. He practically got me out there wanting to suit up and get onto the field myself. Just the intensity that he had with his, 2-minute, 3-minute talk to the crowd here at Big East Media Day. A lot of passion from the head coach of the Temple Owls.
You want to talk about parity in the Big East? Every team in the conference last year won 5 games. You know when the last time an entire conference had every team win 5 games? You know when the last time that was?
Don't know.
It'd be 1905 when the Big 9 did it. Big 9, of course, now the Big 10. Fast forward to today, though. Take a look at the 2012, the first preseason media poll, and Syracuse finds itself in 7th place, which is not good because there are 8 teams in the Big East. What do you guys think about this first prediction?
Well, I mean, they're one above Temple right now, which is a team that wasn't even in the Big East last year. And I don't like the fact that they're all the way at the bottom because Louisville is on top just because they won the Big East last year, and USF is at 2. I see USF, a team with B.J. Daniels returning, probably being at that number 1 spot, and Syracuse finishing somewhere in the middle, maybe at 6-6 on the year, getting a couple conference wins, more than they had last year, of course, which would obviously be an improvement. But they're a team that has returning a lot of playmakers. We talked about it, Alec Lemon, Ryan Nassib, Marcus Sales. They could be dangerous, not 7th.
I'm with you. I think the returning playmakers are enough. Sure, Syracuse loses something on both lines. We talk about Chandler Jones on defense and then really the whole entire right side of the offensive line. Those are big question marks for Syracuse on the interior. But Ryan Nassib, Alec Lemon, Marcus Sales coming back, that's enough from the playmakers, I think, for Syracuse to finish in the middle of the pack. And a couple of teams that I look at to slide down, Cincinnati and Pittsburgh. I think Cincinnati losing Isaiah Pease, Zach Collaros from last year, and then Pitt with a brand new head coach undergoing turmoil. I think those 2 teams slide down. Syracuse a little bit higher than projected.
Syracuse was picked to finish 7th in the Big East this year. Last year, it was Louisville that was picked to finish 7th in the conference, and they won a share of the Big East last year. So I guess that goes to show what preseason polls are good for. Not a whole lot. What was the most interesting thing you guys learned today from any of the players and coaches?
Well, I'll take it.
Yeah,
I'll take it.
do it.
I would say Charlie Loeb. And
Charlie Loeb, the same quarterback who hasn't started a game for the SC.
Yes, it is him. And I guess that's what makes it so interesting because Doug Marrone made a point to single out Charlie Loeb as someone that he's very high on right now. He was asked, who is the backup quarterback right now? We talked already a little bit about Terrell Hunt returning to the team and coming off his suspension. Obviously, he's behind right now in the game. So we asked Doug Marrone, who is the backup? He says right now it's Charlie Loeb. Not only is Charlie Loeb the definite backup, if somehow magically Ryan Nassib were not on this team, let's say, Charlie Loeb would be the definite starter for sure. He would be confident in having Charlie Loeb out there in the field and to provide a winning product for the Syracuse team. Doug Marrone has tons of confidence in his redshirt junior quarterback, Charlie Loeb.
Doug Marrone also has a lot of confidence in a guy in Ashton Broyle, true freshman coming in who can run the ball, pass the ball, played wide receiver and running back. Didn't talk a lot about him, said he was excited. But the most interesting thing I learned from a player was Ray Graham of Pittsburgh, who actually tore his ACL last season and is now coming back 11 months later from injury. He said he thinks he's Superman, but he knows he's not.
Superman never tore his ACL.
No, he didn't, but Ray Graham might just be close. And he was very confident. The entire Pittsburgh team that was here, including Jared Holley as safety for Pittsburgh, very well spoken and very confident.
Over under 2 starts for Charlie Loeb this year.
Under.
Under.
One?
It's not good. Doug Marrone appreciates what Charlie Loeb could bring to the table if he started. That doesn't change the fact that he's going to have 0 starts.
Thank you, Andrew. Thank you, Ben. This was Media Roundtable, concluding Citrus TV's coverage of the Big East Football Media Day 2012. Thank you, guys.